Imagine the scene fading in slowly. The camera panning across a quiet suburban driveway at dusk. The golden light casting long shadows over an old pickup truck parked on the curb. Its paint faded but sturdy, like the man who owns it. The house in the background stands solid. 2 stories of brick and memories, with the garage door closed tight. A symbol of boundaries crossed and reclaimed. That's where our story begins, with a man who's given everything to his family, only to watch them take more than they should. Picture this. I'm standing there in my driveway, the cool evening air brushing against my skin, staring at my old Ford truck that's been my faithful companion for 2 decades. It's not much to look at anymore. A few dents from years of hard work, but it's mine. And it carries the ghosts of road trips with my late wife, Carol. Laughter echoing in the cab as we drove through endless highways. Now, it's banished to the street like some unwanted stray. All because my daughter-in-law decided her shiny new SUV deserved the protection of my garage, the one in my house. The house I built with my own hands, sweat, and savings over 40 years. It wasn't always like this. Let me take you back a bit to when things started shifting. After Carol passed away 5 years ago, the house felt like a hollow shell, rooms echoing with silence where her voice used to fill them. My son Mike, bless his heart at first, suggested he and his wife Sarah move in temporarily. Just to help out Dad, he said, his eyes earnest over a cup of coffee at the kitchen table. We'll handle the upkeep, keep you company. You shouldn't be alone. I nodded, grateful, thinking it would bring life back into these walls. And for a while it did. Laughter from their visits turned into daily routines. Shared meals, even helping with the yard work now and then. But slowly, like a frog in warming water, things changed. Sarah started small, rearranging the living room. Furniture because it flows better this way. Then came the complaints about my clutter, old photo albums tucked in corners, tools scattered in the garage from weekend projects. Dad, we need to modernize, she'd say with that polite smile that hid the edge in her voice. Mike would just shrug, caught in the middle but always siding with her. She's got a point, Dad. It's for the best. I let it slide, biting my tongue, because family is family, right? I didn't want to be the grumpy old man pushing them away. But deep down, it stung, like a paper cut that keeps reopening. This was my home, the place where Carol and I raised Mike, where we'd host barbecues with neighbors, where I'd tinker in the garage on rainy afternoons. The smell of oil and wood shavings mixing with the comfort of familiarity. Now it felt like I was the guest, tiptoeing around their preferences. The garage became the battleground I didn't see coming. One Friday evening, I pull up after a long day at the store, arms full of groceries, milk, bread, those frozen dinners I rely on now that cooking for one feels pointless. I hit the opener, but the door doesn't budge. Confused, I try again, then walk inside to find Sarah standing there, keys in hand, her SUV gleaming under the fluorescent lights where my truck usually sits. Dad, she says, not even looking apologetic. Do you mind parking on the street from now on? My car's new, and it needs to be protected from the weather. Yours is, well, older. It can handle a little rain or sun. Her voice is casual, like she's asking to borrow a cup of sugar. But there's that undertone, the one that says she's already decided. I glance at Mike, who's hovering in the doorway, avoiding my eyes. Yeah, Dad, it's just temporary. Makes sense, right? Sarah's car is worth more, and we don't want it getting damaged. Worth more? The words hang in the air like exhaust fumes, choking me. My truck might not be flashy, but it's carried me through storms, both literal and the kind that hit your soul. I remember the day Carol and I bought it, her hand on mine as we signed the papers, excited for adventures ahead. Now, it's deemed unworthy of shelter in its own home. I don't argue. Not then. I just back out, park on the curb, and carry the groceries in. My shoulders a little heavier. Inside, Sarah's already chatting about her day, as if nothing happened. Mike pats my back awkwardly. Thanks for understanding, Dad. But I feel it. That spark of something unfamiliar. Not anger exactly, but a quiet resolve bubbling up from years of giving in. That night, lying in bed, the house creaking softly around me, I stare at the ceiling, memories flooding in. Carol would have hated this, seeing our home turned into someone else's territory. She'd always say, "Home is where you stand your ground." Honey, I missed her voice, her strength. But maybe it was time to find my own again. The next morning dawns bright. The kind of Saturday where the birds chirp a little too cheerfully. Mike and Sarah head out for brunch with friends, waving goodbye like everything's perfect. I watch their car pull away, then pick up the phone. The locksmith arrives within the hour. A friendly guy named Tom who's been in the business for years. Smart lock system, huh? He says, eyeing the garage. Yeah, and reprogram the opener too. I reply, keeping my voice steady. By lunchtime, it's done, the garage secured. Programmed only to my phone and a hidden spare key. No fanfare, no drama. Just quiet control reclaimed. I spend the afternoon puttering around, fixing a leaky faucet in the kitchen. The sound of water dripping a reminder of how small leaks can flood a house if ignored. The sun sets, and I park my truck back on the street for now, waiting. Sunday comes, and Sarah's got plans, shopping with girlfriends. Her SUV ready for the outing. I hear her in the garage, pressing the remote. Click. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. The manual handle? Locked solid. Mike joins her, fiddling with wires, cursing under his breath. They come inside, faces flushed. Dad, the garage won't open. Did you mess with it? Mike asks, a hint of accusation. I sip my coffee at the table, the steam rising like my suppressed frustration finally venting. No idea what you're talking about. Maybe it's broken. These things happen with age. My voice is calm, even, but inside, there's a small thrill, like revving an engine after it sat idle too long. Sarah's eyes narrow, phone already out, dialing emergency locksmiths. This is ridiculous. I have places to be. Call someone to fix it right now. Her tone sharpens, the entitlement showing through like a crack in polished veneer. I can try later, I say, standing slowly. But I'm heading out fishing for the day. You know, with my truck that's fine on the street. I grab my rod and cooler. Stepping past them, the door closing behind me with a satisfying click. The lake is peaceful that afternoon, water lapping against the dock, fish biting just enough to keep it interesting. My phone buzzes a few times, text from Mike, increasingly desperate. Dad, any luck with the garage? I ignore them, casting my line, feeling the weight lift off my chest with each ripple in the water. By evening, when I return, their SUV's still trapped, gleaming uselessly inside. Sarah's plans ruined, Mike's pacing the driveway. Over dinner, takeout, since they're too frazzled to cook. Sarah mutters about bird droppings and ruining her paint job if this continues. Mike tries brokering peace. It was just a misunderstanding, Dad. We can share the garage. But I hold firm, shaking my head. Seems like the lock's stuck. Might take a while to sort. Inside, I'm smiling. The taste of justice sweet like the pie Carol used to bake. The week drags for them. Sarah parks on the street now, checking her car obsessively for scratches, complaining about every leaf that falls. Mike apologizes more earnestly one night, sitting with me on the porch, beer in hand. We should have asked, Dad. It wasn't right. You're right, I say, looking at the stars. It wasn't. No more words needed. The lesson sinks in silently. A month later, they announce they're moving out, Found an apartment downtown. Time for our own space, Mike says, packing boxes. Sarah shoots me a glare as the moving truck loads up. Her SUV finally free, but the memory locked in. Now, the garage is mine again. My truck's safe inside, tools organized just how I like. The house breathes easier, quieter, but fuller somehow. I learned that being the nice guy too. Long lets people forget you're the one holding the roof over their heads. Sometimes, a little locked door revenge reminds everyone where the keys really lie. If you've ever felt pushed out of your own space by family, you know that sting. What would you have done? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if this hit home. And subscribe for more stories where justice parks itself right where it belongs. You won't want to miss the next one.